Rumspringa!
Hey, Brynne, have you seen Steel Magnolias?
Oh my god, yes, I love that movie.
Jonsy, you've seen it, right?
Hey, Tony.
Yeah.
You've seen Dracula, right?
Oh, I love that movie. It's so good.
Lena, you've seen it.
What do you think? Filmspringa!
Hey, Brynne, have you seen Weekend at Bernie's?
Oh my god, Weekend at Bernie's saved my life.
Jonsy, you have to have seen it.
Oh my god, no, I haven't. Of course not. You've seen Nightmare on Elm Street. It's the best.
That movie scared the out of me when I was a
Lena,
kid.
did it scare the out of you? I have not seen that one, and I will be praying for all of your souls.
It's your Rumspringa, Lena.
Haven't seen it.
It's showtime!
Hey, everybody! Hey, welcome to Filmspringa! Howdy, everyone. Welcome to Filmspringa, the podcast about all your favorite movies that your sheltered friend has never seen. I am here with my friend.
Oh, me. Hey, Tony. I'm here. And
I'm the sheltered friend, Lena.
I was trying to point to her in the camera, but I couldn't figure. There. She's this way.
She's down for me. People on the podcast listening will be like, we don't care.
Yeah, they're like, we don't care.
Yeah. So, hey, everybody. Today we watched the epic, the amazing, a lot of longingly looking at each other with eyes squinted from the hard western sun, Tombstone.
Yes, Tombstone.
Tombstone, for those of you that don't know, is a 1993 Kurt Russell vehicle about Wyatt Earp and his brothers and the very infamous shootout at the OK Corral. And we'll talk. I know that everyone at home right now is like, it wasn't at the OK Corral.
We know.
It was outside, and like, we get it. Historically, there is not, 100% accuracy. But I thought it was pretty damn good.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on this, Brynne, because as like you, I have seen this movie many, many times, but it's been a long time since I've seen it. So revisiting this movie this week was very interesting, to say the least.
Yes, and the fun thing about this movie is that there are Hollywood tidbits for it, but then there's also historical tidbits for it.
Yeah.
So if you are a history buff watching this, continue listening, but don't listen to anything we say about the historical accuracy of this movie, because
You mean we're not going to be accurate?
we're all actually historians. That's why we started this podcast.
This is a comedy podcast.
Yeah,
And we
About
shoot for that.
historians.
And
about
we're not
accurate
a
historical data.
We're not an education podcast, okay?
Yeah.
We'll give you tidbits and maybe some things you didn't know about the film.
That we Googled ourselves and did not verify independently in any way.
Right.
But yeah, this movie came out in 1993. Every single person that was famous in the 90s is in this movie.
Yes.
We have so many people. Jason Priestley,
I know.
Billy Zane. I'm not going to make a listen to your friend Billy Zane joke.
Why not? It's funny.
Your friend Billy Zane. We got a chubby Billy Bob Thornton. We've got Kurt Russell. We've got a Bill Paxton, still very much alive.
The late, great
doing
Bill
it. Like great Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
And then like a million other people. John Corbett of Sex and the City fame.
Right?
Sorry, is Bill Paxton dead?
Yeah.
Yes. You didn't know that?
Are you thinking about Bill Pullman?
Are you getting him confused? She looks so confused and scared right now.
Lena looks really confused. Even more confused than me, wearing a cowboy hat, which you guys at home can't see. But
I have my bandana on.
Tony has a bandana on. Yeah.
I'm wearing poofy sleeve shirts.
Like a prairie.
Like a
the
prairie
girl.
girl. And I told the gang earlier I tried to do my hair prairie girl style, but it turns out it's just one of my looks, so I just look like me.
Yeah.
Like you're from the prairie.
People on the podcast, like people listening to the podcast won't know. So you can just say you did an awesome job and you look great.
I have great
Amazing.
hair and makeup.
You do. Charleston Heston was in this
Charleston
film
Heston.
too,
Yes,
which is
Charleston
crazy.
Heston. Funny story is that
Now he is dead though, right?
No, he's alive.
100%.
No, I'm kidding.
What?
I'm kidding.
Fun tidbit: my mom met Charleston Heston once, and he looked down the bodice of her dress.
Shut up. How?
Yeah, for sure.
When? How?
Like in the 90s,
Of course.
they met at like a play or something
At a play.
in Hollywood.
But the film, for people who may not know, takes place in 1879, and Tombstone's a real place. It's in Arizona, very close to Tucson. I've been to the real Tombstone many, many, many times. Me and producer Robbie went probably a good 3 or 4 years ago, I want to say, was the last time we went. But the film it's about Wyatt Earp and his brothers and his friendship with Doc Holliday and how they come to Tombstone to be businessmen, but in turn are lawmen. And the infamous a.k.a. OK Corral shootout happens. And then in the film, Wyatt Earp goes on a revenge ride to hunt down the cowboys.
Yeah, they call it.
Yeah.
No.
They call it the Earp Revenge
Earp
Trail.
Revenge, yeah. So
But you
that's
guys,
the
it's
premise
not-
of the movie.
It's not revenge, as Doc Holliday says. It's retribution. Tell me this: is every single line of this movie not a very quotable? Like every
know.
single line of this movie. I stopped watching this movie, and I was like, I'm full of piss and vinegar, boys.
My favorite when I wrote it down that I just, oh my God, when Kurt Russell's character, Wyatt Earp, looks at the other guy and he's like, you gonna do something or you gonna stand there and bleed?
Yes,
When he slaps him.
Every
love
line
it.
is amazing. And the very cool thing about this is that most of the really cool lines that Doc Holliday has in the movie are actually things attributed to Doc Holliday historically. Like when he says, I'm your huckleberry, or when he's talking to Ringo and he goes, you're a daisy if you do.
Yep.
Those are all real things that Doc Holliday has actually attributed as saying in history.
Which I found really cool that they actually kept a lot of Doc Holliday's like historical sayings that he did. But we have to talk about Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday.
Sorry. He deserved a goddamn Oscar.
I agree, Brynne. He made the movie for me. He was
so good in this.
This is the best film I've ever seen him do as far as acting wise. Like that was even in my notes. I was like, he steals the show. This is the best acting I've ever seen from him. Like, I was very seriously impressed.
Oh, he's so good in it.
He's so good. So the director that they originally had, the man who's credited with directing this movie, is like George Cosmatos, was a terrible director, I guess. He had also directed Rambo 2.
Yeah.
And he had done such a bad job. So Sylvester Stallone, his brother, is in this movie.
I was going to say one of his family members. I saw it in the credits.
Yes, he plays, you know, the guy in the beginning when Doc is playing poker and the guy gets mad and he's like, oh, please tell me, are we not friends anymore?
Yes.
Yeah, that's Sylvester Stallone's brother.
That's funny because I remember thinking he's short.
He looks like a Stallone. Yeah,
he's short.
So when Kurt Russell was having because this was a project very near and dear to Kurt Russell's heart, when Kurt Russell was having these problems with the director, Sylvester Stallone told him like sort of a back way around it to get him. So Kurt Russell basically shadow directed this movie.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And he cut out 20 pages from the script.
Yeah.
And all the 20 pages that he cut out were his because he was like, I need to gain everyone's trust. So he told Val Kilmer, you're going to do the bulk of the acting in this movie. And Val Kilmer took it really seriously and was like method. He like went and learned how to gamble. And he was the fastest one on set using his pistols. And he took it really seriously.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting with the directing because Kurt Russell had an agreement with the director that he wasn't going to say anything about directing the film as long as the director was alive. And when he passed away, Kurt Russell pretty much was like, yeah, I directed the movie. And then Val Kilmer did an interview saying the movie wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Kurt Russell. And he was the director of the film.
Kurt Russell, he's like your chatty aunt. Like, you'll keep a promise. The second you're dead, I'm fucking telling everybody.
Saying like a canary.
I'm proud of this movie. I'm going to tell you all. This is my movie.
Yeah.
And
And
want
I
you to
like
know.
that. You know the trick Val Kilmer does with the coin? That was him. Like he
Yep.
does it in that. He did it in the
Top
Genius
Gun.
movie and Top Gun.
In Top Gun and Real Geniuses,
Genius,
which is a
yeah.
movie that we should do if you haven't
I know,
seen it.
if
'cause
you haven't
it has one
seen
of my
it, it's so good.
favorite jokes in it. That
Haven't
a high
seen it.
school teacher told me inappropriate.
What is it?
So it's the guy is talking, like the big boss is talking to the bad guy about when they're gonna get this product. And the bad guy is like to the boss, he's like, it's coming. And the boss goes, no, it's not even breathing hard.
That is so dumb.
A teacher told you this?
Yeah, a teacher told me that.
What
too.
grade were you in?
It was junior year AP physics.
Oh my god, that's too
Yeah,
funny.
he was the football coach.
Oh,
We
well,
don't have
that
to get
makes
into
sense.
Speaking of that, Tony, let's you and I talk about where we were at in our lives
Yes.
when we watched this movie and how impactful it was for us.
Yeah. Do you want to go first or me?
You go first, Tony. I feel like I've been talking a lot.
So this film, I remember it came out in 93. I watched it. I think I was probably in high school, and it reminds me a lot of my grandfather on my dad's side because he would watch Gunsmoke, Bonanza, and when this film came out, oh, he was all about it. So I remember watching it with him, and I really liked it even as a kid. I just thought it was so cool, and they were so macho, and like the way Kurt Russell with that he didn't have any guns at the beginning of the movie.
Yes.
And
yeah,
he
yeah.
did it all with just his look and just like his bravado. It was just
A
I
lot of
remember that.
slaps.
That stuck with me. Yeah.
A lot of face
slaps.
slapping.
Um,
Not of women, which I appreciated because I feel
Yeah.
like that's unique for Western.
And I just when I rewatched it this time, the one thing that I really totally dawned on me is how 90s this movie is. There is a certain style to film in the 90s, and this remind me of it. Even the opening where they're at the wedding and all of that, and then the epic scenery and the music. It just has a
Yeah.
very 90s feel to me, which was very nostalgic. But I hadn't watched the film probably in a good 10 or so years until this time. But it brought back a lot of memories about my grandfather and just spending time with him when I was a kid, which was really interesting. So
That's nice.
yeah.
Such a violent movie.
I know. It is. Like everybody's dying left and right.
I forgot how rough that opening scene is.
Oh, at the wedding?
At
With
the wedding. I sort of blocked
Mexican
it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know in that scene there's a mistake? You can see the boom mic in one
Yeah.
of the scenes. It's so funny. Rob
We already
pointed it
used
out
all
to
the-
me.
Yeah, really?
He's like, wait, that's the boom mic.
It's like we already used all the pop cap guns. We're not.
Yeah,
We don't have any more. This is it.
that's it.
Staying in.
But it was really cool revisiting the movie. I forgot what cinematically a good film it is. Like it's a good film. It's a really good film. And I thought Kurt Russell was so hot in this film. Like I was like, God
That
damn.
dimple.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What about you, Brynne? When you first, because I know this was your movie pick this week. So where were you when you first saw it? Tell us about it.
I first saw this movie. It came out in 1993. I saw this movie when I was 10 years old.
I am
and-
not surprised.
Watched it often throughout my childhood. I own 2 copies of it on DVD, a regular copy and then an anniversary copy with a special commentary. So yeah, I thought when I was younger and I thought I was going to be famous, I was like, when I check into hotels, my nom de plume will be Dr. Holiday. Yeah. This movie reminds me of my dad, who loved Westerns, loved this movie. We watched it all the time. It reminds me of hanging out with my family. And just like we used to say these lines to each other, like even playing around, like you're a daisy if you do, to me and my brothers, like when we were stealing food from each other or like toys, and be like, give that back, and be like, I'm your Huckleberry. So like when I told my brother that we were doing this for the podcast, he was like, don't watch it without me. And then we're both just saying the lines over the actual dialogue the whole time.
Oh, that is so cute.
Both of you have such
violent.
You know what we should do, which we forgot to do at the top of the show? Play the trailers so everybody can get a little feel.
Right, we should do that.
Feel for the movie, and they kind of know what we're talking about.
I just watched it, and I'm excited again.
I know. Even the trailer makes me want to watch it.
In Tombstone, crime ruled the streets. Violence stalked the innocent. And every stranger was your enemy. Until Wyatt Earp and his brothers arrived. And now, all hell is about to break loose. Kurt Russell, Val Kilmer, Bill Paxton, Jason Priestley, Sam Elliott, Dana Delaney, Michael Biehn, Powers Booth, Charlton Heston.
You gonna do something or just stand there and bleed?
Justice is coming to Tombstone.
It's so dramatic.
So dramatic.
God, you know who I really liked in this film? Sam Elliott. I forgot what a good actor.
Sam Elliott is the best.
He's like the perfect Western.
I was gonna say Sam Elliott's just being Sam Elliott.
Right? Thank you, Jonsy. But it's so good and fitting for this film.
It works.
Yeah.
And historically, a lot of people. So Virgil was actually the one who had been in the Civil War as a soldier. He was the one who was the best shooter. He was the one who was actually like able to deputize people. So a lot of people think that Virgil was really the hero of the shootout and all the things that happened in Tombstone. But because Wyatt lived longer than everyone, he was like, yeah, it was me.
Yeah.
Everyone was just like, sure, yeah.
Well, even with I remember I was reading something like he wrote his memoirs or something, Wyatt Earp, and he just elaborated on everything and made his legacy, we should say, much grander than it was.
He ended up in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And so he had like a lot of access to people, and like it is a crazy story, and it is like, you know, and like, I mean, Doc Holliday is really, I mean, obviously in the movie, Doc Holliday is the real hero and the most amazing one. But, you know, it is that name of Wyatt Earp. And there were actually, he had 9 siblings, Wyatt Earp did. And there was another sibling, Warren, that was in Tombstone when
eating his lunch.
And they said he was eating his lunch, so they put him into the movie. Like, he was there. There was another
and he had
brother.
Sisters. Wyatt Earp had sisters, right? Yeah.
They were like, he was eating his lunch. And then so they just didn't put him in the movie at all.
He was the pacifist.
He was. He was like, you guys go take care of that. I'm going to sit here and have my tuna sandwich.
But I have to tell you something that always bothered me in the movie is the love story.
Oh.
Yes.
I didn't like it.
Yeah.
And he has a wife, and it's just like so flagrant. And I remember I hated Dana Delaney. Like
Dana Delaney,
the actress.
Wait, which one was she? I'm trying to
remember. She plays Josie. The
actress one. Okay,
but I hated Dana Delaney, the actress who played her, because I was like,
this
you.
role.
It's like she was married. But
What?
in real life, I read that he never met Josie at Tombstone. She wasn't there. There's a lot of debate, but they were together for 46 years.
Really?
She was like a compulsive gambler and they like hated each other. So I was like, okay.
Well, and
He was married a bunch of times.
Oh,
Wyatt
yeah.
Earp, yeah.
I didn't like how the movie kind of portrayed it where like, well, because she's addicted
To laudanum.
this makes it totally acceptable. And it's like, no.
Well, initially, they also had a sex scene between Wyatt and Josie that they ended up cutting because
Really?
people were like, "Oh no."
They're like, we don't want to see that.
Yeah, and it makes him look like a jerk.
Yeah.
I mean, not that Wyatt Earp wasn't a jerk, but
No, apparently, like, he was a nice guy and lived like a pretty low-key life.
he lived to be 80. They did say early on in his career in life, he was like a scam artist. He owned brothels.
I'm not surprised. It was the West.
I feel like it was like just sort of a West thing.
Yeah.
Not to
Did
make
you
excuses
have
for
either
that.
of you been to Tombstone in Arizona?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. What did you think when you went, especially after seeing the film so many
Yeah,
times?
that's like part of the reason why we went. I thought it was super cool. I also thought it was fun because they in the cemetery in the movie they do close-ups on some of it, and there's that one that's Lester Moore took 4 slugs from a 44 and now he's dead. No less, no more. That's a that's a real grave that they have in Tombstone.
Yeah.
So that's cool and funny.
Also, like the Birdcage Theater that's in Tombstone now is one of the most haunted places in America. Did you know that?
Right.
Like
That makes sense.
Yeah, there was over, I want to say it was like 24 deaths or 25 deaths in there, and there was a brutal death between two of the girls that worked there. One of them, I forget, I'm trying to look it up and see what her name is, but it was between
fight.
Yeah. It was at the Birdcage. It was Margaret was a prostitute there with Billy Milgreen was the guy, and he had another mistress called get this name, Golden Dollar was her name.
Oof.
Golden Dollar.
You gotta love a woman,
Bond villain, or
a woman ahead of her time.
Golden
ahead
Dollar.
of her time.
So Golden Dollar was Billy Milgreen's regular prostitute, and then Margaret came in, and Golden got really jealous and stabbed her in the middle of the bar, like I forget how many times, just brutally knifed her, and then took off. And they arrested her, but they never charged her because they couldn't find the murder weapon. And it turns out years later, the murder weapon was hidden in the theater. And now when you go there, they have it encased in the theater.
Cool.
But apparently the basement of the theater is super haunted. Like people say they can see Margaret and all. I know exactly, Jonsy. But it's known as one of the most haunted places in America. So
that's so cool. We should go there.
I know, right?
Yes, once quarantine lifts and everything's back to normal, so 5 years from now, let's go.
5 years.
Just really bummed me out, Lena.
I know. Wow.
Let's talk about mass deaths and shootings.
But they did it so stylish and just like pow, pow,
Yes.
pow.
And like lots of shots with people looking at each other in the eyes dramatically.
Yeah.
Like that scene after when they're all like looking at each other outside the OK Corral when they're getting ready to shoot. It's a telenovela. Like it really is. They're all just looking at each other.
A telenovela.
Like if you guys can't see, but we're all looking at each other dramatically right now.
I know. It's stupid.
Yeah. So good.
It is. Did you know the creek scene when Wyatt Earp approaches Curly Bill? That really happened.
That
really happened in real life.
Wait, what scene?
You know when Wyatt Earp is gonna kill Curly Bill in the river, and he's like, "Fuck this shit," and he starts.
Yeah, when he goes, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that really happened in real life, according to historians, that Wyatt Earp really did walk through the creek, and all of the bullets that were shot by Curly Bill missed him. And it was real. I was like,
He
that's
said he
really
had-
cool.
Scotty Bill known to be a bad shot.
Well, no, there were other people shooting at him too, but he had bullet holes in his coat. He had bullet holes in his boot. But a survivor that was what part of the Cowboys ran away and told someone, like told a judge that this is what happened. Like he just went into the river and he was like, no. And I'm like, oh, it's so good. It's so good.
That was another thing where I've got to say, like, so that scene, I was like, okay, stormtrooper much? Like, no one's hitting anybody. Yet the Cowboys can both be simultaneously the worst shots in the world, and yet the best shot when they like shoot Morgan through a window in the spine while he's cool and taking a shot. And I'm just like, what world is this where there's simultaneously the best shots and the worst?
I feel like it depends on the type of gun you have, and I really don't appreciate you poking holes in this airtight story.
Sorry,
because it makes
You're
perfect sense.
destroying
I mean,
the illusion.
Morgan really did die.
Yeah.
And Virgil really did have his arm shattered. Warren was just eating a salami sandwich, so he ended up okay.
He was out of it.
he lived to,
Can
to
you
not tell
imagine-
the tale.
Can you imagine if William Dafoe played Doc Holliday? Because that was who originally was supposed to. Yeah, and he turned it down. He said no.
No,
thank you.
he didn't turn it down.
He
The
didn't?
studio. So Buena
Passion of the
Vista-
Christ.
Yes.
Right? Yes.
Yeah. So
That's
Buena
right.
Vista
Oh,
is
no.
owned by Disney, and that is who was producing this movie, who was making it. And Willem Dafoe had starred in The Passion of the Christ and made a really big stir. It was super, super controversial. So they did not want him. He was going to play Doc Holliday.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, it's like you cannot picture anyone other than Val Kilmer playing this part. He's amazing. Oh, you know what we should do, guys, too?
What?
It's time for 6 Degrees.
Yes.
halfway
6
through.
degrees.
Woo.
Okay, we'll tell you guys that we are going to do someone from this movie and then someone from the next movie we're going to do.
Yes.
So we should
Which
do.
Jonesy doesn't know, so she won't know.
I
that.
don't know. I didn't know we had figured that. I guess this happened behind my back.
Sorry. So we'll do who from this movie?
Billy Zane, because we haven't talked about Billy Zane in the film.
Not enough.
With the gay
other
understory in the film.
His Jason Priestley. Yeah, Billy
Yeah.
Zane. And then someone from the other movie. Why don't we do Bob Hoskins?
Yes, the one that we get
That's
confused
enough.
with Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito.
Yes.
The one that Brynne confuses is Danny
You
DeVito.
guys do know that I have seen both Hook and Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yes.
That's good. Those are both very good
Very
movies.
good
and
movies.
that's a kernel of why we can continue to be friends with you at this point.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
So speaking of that, Jonesy, let's get your perspective.
Yeah, what'd you think since you
Let's
watched
get your perspective,
this?
knowing that if you did not like it, that this podcast is over forever and we will never be friends or talk to you again. What did you think about it?
well, and not only that, but my husband also told me he would draw up divorce papers if I did not like this film. So it turns out I would lose everyone. So
I
no
respect-
pressure. I love this
respect it.
film.
Lies.
Oh, I thought you were
Okay,
being
now
serious.
give us your
Okay, tell us the
real
truth.
opinion on this film that you watched for the very first time ever.
No, really, I love this film.
No.
Truly, I very much enjoyed this film. This was my intro. I watched Westworld, so there was a little bit of like, when are they going to turn into robots at the beginning? But other than Westworld, this was really my first introduction to the genre Westerns.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So that was an experience in of itself. And then on top of that, experiencing the film, I very much enjoyed it, but I also realized, like what was mentioned earlier, the genre is telenovela-esque. It's kabuki theater. It's the William Shatner kind of death scene, or the red shirt kind of death scenes, and the William Shatner kind of acting. Like literally he goes out into the rain for a solid 60 seconds of film, and it's just like ah,
Don't see a problem with it.
Yeah, I know. What's it? Well, it's like the Jonsy. You would know this, like the Western melodrama.
Yeah.
You like the theater version
Yes.
of what? It's the same. It's like
I get that,
over the
but
top. Everything's
It was-
over the top.
It popped my Western cherry, so
hate
I
that phrase.
very much that was a ride in of itself. It felt like, you know, the straight white cisgender man's telenovela where he got to like wear mustaches and fancy hats and got to act with his eyes
And shoot a
and
gun.
have dramatic death scenes.
Yeah. So you liked it.
No, I would say I loved it.
Okay, good.
I would say that the introduction to the genre is a little bit comical to me, but because I can appreciate what different genres are and, you know, why they exist, here's the great thing, even though like I recognize I was witnessing a whole entire genre in front of my eyes, it was consistent. So I bought into the world, and that is what I think makes really great filmmaking is even when it make these over dramatic death scenes and like I'm shot in the spine, like I can be in the moment and be like, yeah, no, that fits in this world. You've created a world where that absolutely makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. And you know
That's
this,
why
like
I love it.
Like with being on stage, if you don't, as an actor, if you don't believe what you're saying, the audience isn't going to believe what you're saying.
Exactly.
And with this film, you get so sucked into the drama.
Well, and that's
And
why I
it's so
can say Val
captivating.
Kilmer blew me away, even though I'm like, this is kind of a soap opera.
But you get so invested. Like, you really hate the Cowboys.
Oh, I know.
Like, I watched this movie a million times. I was like, Ike, you little piss baby.
Oh, you're
Like,
such a weasel. God damn it.
love the Earps. You hate the Cowboys. You hate Doc Holliday's weird wife who's trying to like kill him with blowjobs. You're
I
like,
didn't hate her.
situation there. You didn't hate her?
I kind of
No,
liked her.
I
She's
felt
trying
like
to kill Doc Holliday.
I thought
she
she was
was
a
a
badass.
total enabler, but I also think he was already living out the end of his life.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to go out, then why not be with an enabler who's going to let you live your best life out?
Yeah.
I feel like if the doctor tells you that like you have consumption, stop smoking and doing activities, that your significant other should not respond by putting a cigarette in your mouth and your dong in her mouth. A cigarette in your mouth and a dong in her mouth. I feel like that's not what you should be doing.
That's
I
what Rob would do.
agree.
Rob would be like, I'm
Rob,
gonna kill you.
producer Rob.
I'm gonna kill you. This is what's happening tonight. They said no blowjob or cigarette. Guess what you're getting tonight, bitch? That's what he would say.
I think that was more a scene where they both recognized, like, look, because the doctor also told him, he was like, you could change all these things and die in 2 days or 2 years.
Yeah.
Let's go for the 2 years, you know?
But
exactly.
it doesn't matter. And why not? Here's the thing. It's like those people who are dying of cancer and decide they're not going to go through the treatment. They're going to go on their bucket list world travel
We're
trip.
gonna smoke and get blowjobs. Yeah.
And also probably that. And I feel like, you know
not a bad
what? If
way
you're
to go.
dying, you get to live the life you want to live as you're dying.
But he told her like we need to change the nature of
Of
our
our relationship.
and she's
And
like, nah.
Didn't he
He's like,
leave?
that's not what I signed up for.
No. We're getting money and you're playing Frederick fucking Chopin on the piano at dive bars.
Which they both died from tuberculosis.
I know.
Isn't that weird?
It is weird.
Yeah.
Wait, she died from?
No, Chopin did
Chopin.
as
Oh.
Yeah, and Doc Holliday, because in real life he did quote Chopin. So it was really interesting that them two died of the same
Guess
causes.
this is a history podcast after all.
You
and
know what?
another
Oh, go ahead, Brynne.
is that Val Kilmer decided to like really turn him into a Southern gentleman and really play that up, because in real life, Doc Holliday was related to Margaret Mitchell, who wrote Gone with the Wind.
Yep.
So he really sort of like took a Rhett Butler approach.
Yeah.
Gone with the Wind, very problematic. Tombstone,
Very
not so
problematic.
Very problematic.
Have you seen Gone with the Wind?
Also a movie I've never seen.
I don't think it's not the time.
Yeah, no.
That's fair.
In this climate, no. You know what scene I really loved in the film was when Doc Holliday is in the hospital and Wyatt Earp comes to see him. Oh, that acting between
Just
them
go.
and just go.
Just
go.
Please.
Oh, and he gave him the book about Doc
Yeah.
Holliday. Oh, it was so good. I love that scene in the film.
Seriously,
The acting is good. Everyone's so committed.
Was
Val Kilmer, when he was doing the death scenes, he told them to put ice packs under him. So he
Really?
acted on top of ice so that he was really chittering and chattering, and so he could really play it out. He went like full method for this.
Well,
I have
he's
a
a method
question. Was
actor in all this
Give
stuff.
the
he
man a
does.
goddamn Oscar
Yeah, I know.
was anyone nominated? That's my question.
Val
Was anyone
Kilmer
nominated
for an MTV award.
for an MTV Movie Award. Yeah.
He should have been gotten. He should have got nominated for an Oscar.
Or
Yeah.
a Golden Globe at least.
At least.
Well,
But
and I
Val
feel like-
Kilmer is a very method actor. If you look at his
Yeah.
films like The Doors, like he
Haven't
was
seen it.
living as Jim Morrison.
Not,
through the
yeah,
whole
not
thing.
so much
And
anymore. What's
yeah,
going on
and
with that?
after the film ended, he had to go to therapy to get rid
Yeah.
of Jim Morrison. And the directors of the film, me and Robert were watching this thing, that they wanted him to do drugs for the film.
get-
He
oh,
said
man.
no, yeah. They wanted him to get a hit cooked on heroin for the
Oh
film.
my gosh.
Isn't that crazy?
No. Like the
Suffer
guy
for
that
your
played
art.
the guy
Yeah.
that played Ike in Tombstone said that he doesn't think he drank water the entire time that he was filming this movie.
He looked dehydrated.
Yeah, he was just drinking tequila. He said he was really drunk during all of his scenes. He
God.
was just drinking the whole time. And then once he was done filming, he had to go and shoot another film. And he ended up in the hospital he had like 1,000 gallstones from like drinking too much alcohol and not enough water. And then he was like, it was like the same hospital that Doc Holliday died in. And he's like, I'm not dying here.
No,
man."
are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious.
He's like, transport me
Yeah.
now.
And I was like,
He's
I know
God's
you're an
cursed.
actor, but your character sucked. You deserved that. Ike was the worst.
Yeah.
Which
he
one was Ike again?
He was the one that kept like running away and being like, please don't.
Got it. Yep.
Yep.
And
The
Yep.
wuss. He was such a wuss in this
There's
film.
a
It
little
bothered
piss
me.
baby.
I was
Yeah,
like,
a lot
ugh.
of pistol whips.
Yeah.
Lena, can we ask you, what would Mommy and Poppy Jones think?
Yeah.
Oh, so
of
okay.
Tombstone?
This was, since it was my introduction to Westerns, I kept being like, this seems like something, gun-toting conservative
Yeah.
Christians would love.
Mhm.
And then I had a flashback to childhood. I think I remember Ma and Pa Jones arguing over the infidelity in this movie
Oh,
and not
okay.
knowing. Like, obviously I did it, but like I remembered I was older. I was in middle school. So like I knew of this movie coming out, and what I was trying to interject earlier, but I'm also trying not to interrupt. It's a double-edged sword.
Mhm.
Is that I kept having to be like, have I seen this movie? Because I heard so many one-liners well before I ever watched it that like it all kept feeling familiar, even though I'm like, I have not seen this movie.
There are a lot of famous lines.
Yeah.
Yes, tons.
I'm surprised, Jonesy, that your parents had an issue with the infidelity and not the murder and the killing.
Not all of the murder.
I
that occurred.
know.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but there's a whole heap ton of murder in the Bible.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah. So, just throwing that out there. It's
So they
something that a lot of
justified it?
Christians can look
You're right.
past.
There's also a lot of gambling and drinking. Would your parents have been okay with that?
No. And
Okay.
that I very much was like, okay, so the reason why I didn't know so Westerns, I realized, were something my parents watched, but didn't really let us know that was in the household ever.
Mhm.
I didn't learn this until much later, when my dad would be like, "Oh yeah, I know that stuff." And I'm like, "What? I thought we didn't watch that." And he's like, "Oh, well, I did."
Okay for me.
Yes. But the point very much is that, the gambling, the drinking, the violence, all of that, my mom's kind of, what world do I want my children to grow up in? None of that. So that's why I feel like Westerns weren't even a genre.
Oh, we're losing you a little
We're
bit,
losing
Jonsy.
her sound cut out.
Sorry. So while we're waiting for Jonsy to get back on, should we talk about what we would pair this movie with, Tony?
Yes. I
Absolutely.
think, let's see, food-wise, the film, except for the beginning, because it really made me want tamales.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, she's
we can
back.
do.
She's back.
Yeah.
So it made me want like a steak. The
Yeah.
film, right? Like
Yes,
a really
like a
good
rare
steak and a
steak.
beer.
Yes.
Or tequila.
that's a good one.
That's
Or
what
I was
tequila.
going to say whiskey. Aren't they all drinking whiskey around the gambling tables or
All
no?
the time.
whiskey. Michael in the
whiskey.
chat room said steak and beans.
Steak and beans. Yeah.
Right? Steak and
All
beans. How
around
did
it.
we not figure that out? Steak and beans. Yes.
New
steak
York
and beans.
City.
Yeah. Yeah, picante. Yeah, paste.
Paste pecan.
I would say, like whiskey, no ice.
Yeah.
Maybe a Tombstone pizza if you really want to make a theme of it.
Yes,
Tombstone
whiskey and
pizza.
Tombstone pizza. That's it.
And
Done.
steak and beans.
Steak and beans. Or like a sarsaparilla.
A sarsaparilla.
Sarsaparilla if you're
okay.
not the drinking type, because we want to be fair to everyone.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, this movie didn't really evoke a ton of food. Like,
no.
it's just laudanum, whiskey, and blood.
I was going to say poppy seed bagels. No.
Yeah.
You know, when I watched this type of film, like a Western, and going and being in Arizona a lot as a kid, and even now because my family is from Tucson,
Yeah.
I'm like, God, they got to be hot as fuck in those clothes.
So they all
God,
had to
they
wear
gotta be.
wool clothes,
Yeah.
and they all had to grow their own mustaches, except for one. The
Sam Elliott. He already had his.
no. It was somebody. Who was it?
Kurt
Tenny.
Russell.
No. The he played the bad guy, the mayor.
The really
pretty boy
gay
mayor
one.
that the actress is boning.
Oh no, Billy Zane didn't. So the director really wanted everyone to have like authentic, have their own mustaches, and the only person who wasn't able to do it, well, because he had been on another movie and he came straight.
Was it John Bohan? Was that?
No,
I can't
John
remember.
Tenney.
John
Tenney.
Tenney. There you go.
Who was married to Terry Hatcher for a little bit. Yeah, he wasn't able to, so his was fake. But everyone else, they all had to wear wool, real wool, and they all had to grow their own like handlebar mustaches.
Dang.
But a lot of this movie was shot at Knott's Berry Farm.
Yeah, that's what we learned. Yeah, at the theme
Yeah.
park, which was really interesting. I thought.
I love Knott's Berry
That's
Farm.
cool. And a lot of it was shot in old Tucson too.
Yeah.
Which they actually built old Tucson parts of it for this film, and now it's part of the
Cool.
theme park. Yeah.
That's so cool, dude.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. I love Knott's Berry Farm.
I do too. I haven't been there in forever. Can we talk about the underlining gay storyline between
Yes, of course.
I was so
Billy's
happy to see that.
right? Billy Zane's character and Jason I can't say his name. Priestley's
Who was almost
character.
not recognizable.
It took
No,
me
with
a
the
while to realize it was
mustache,
him.
Yeah.
The first scene when he's in the audience of the theater,
Yeah.
I did not recognize him at all. It wasn't
Right?
the next scene he was in, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's 90210."
Really?
The same with Billy Bob Thornton. Took
'Cause
me a
he's
while to
bigger.
Yeah.
Fat Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah.
Yeah. He improvised every line in the movie.
Yeah.
None of his lines were written. He improvised every
But
single
do
line.
you
so
think
cool.
that was his insistence or
Kurt Russell's.
Kurt Russell was like, Billy Bob, everything you say sounds weird. Just say whatever you want.
Exactly.
Doc, I didn't know he was back in town.
But the gay storyline, I was like,
I
oh,
loved it.
look at you. Okay,
nice.
okay.
And they
Well, and
treated
what-
it in an authentic way. Like, it obviously wasn't fleshed out, but
Yeah.
like, I think it was a nice element.
I thought
I
so
think
too. I
it's
totally
also
forgot about
impressive.
that when I watched it.
I think it was
first
also
time.
impressive to see in the early 90s something
Yeah.
that very heavily
Yeah.
indicated to that. Like, truly, I obviously sheltered, can't think of many things. Will and Grace didn't come out into the late 90s,
Yeah.
that, and for it to be in such a very like heteronormative, like this is our safe place kind of arena. I was very, very, very impressed with the filmmakers.
Yeah.
And I loved at the end that it was like when Billy Zane died, spoiler alert.
Wow, you just ruined the whole movie, Brynne.
Sorry, guys.
Like, honestly, we'd let you know on Instagram on Sunday to watch these movies. So I don't think
Yeah.
we need to say spoiler alert.
It's also not really important to the story at all.
No.
But the fact when Jason Priestley, when Billy held his hand,
Oh,
and then he was just like, I'm out. I'm not a cowboy anymore. No more brothers to the bone.
yeah.
There's got to be some law.
I mean, come on. There's a bunch of cowboys hanging out together.
Oh,
I'm
for
sure
sure,
there was
it happened.
Stuff going on.
But I like that it was like treated like they're like, this is a thing that happens, and here it is.
Yeah.
And Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday had they were probably having a jerk off session here and there together.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. Out on the road. It's like a Brokeback Mountain dream town.
I was waiting for that reference.
Oh my god. But I truly enjoyed the movie. So now is the time where we're gonna give the film a grade. So Brynne, last week you gave this film an A or an A plus. I can't remember.
An A plus.
A plus. So does that grade still hold up this week?
And I promise you, I am taking my nostalgia goggles off and I'm viewing it through the lens. Fuck yeah! Give it an A plus again.
I love you.
It's gonna be so good. What about you, Tony?
She wore a hat here.
I know
wore a
she
hat.
wore a
You
hat.
cannot see.
She was committed for this
We have
episode.
to screenshot this.
I know we do.
Everyone knows my stuff.
Screenshot. We'll put it on the Instagram. By the way,
yeah.
follow us, Filmspringa, FILMSPRINGA at Instagram.
Did you say we'll put it on the Instagram?
Put it on the Instagram.
We'll put
We're
it on the
84 years old.
Instagram.
So I started doing that ironically when I was younger, but now that I'm older, it just doesn't fly anymore.
If you're smoking the marijuana or doing the opium
The
and
wacky
chasing that
tobacco.
dragon,
I just
sure.
am now old and uncool.
Oh, you're so cool.
We're in it together.
Jonsy.
All right,
Yeah,
Tony,
we
what's
are.
your grade?
So I originally gave this film last week a solid B.
Mhm.
I think I am going to change it to an A only for Val Kilmer because I forgot how fucking amazing he is in this film. And he got robbed for not getting nominated for a Golden Globe, Oscar, or something. He
Agreed.
really was just so good in this film. He's what really made the film for me.
Oh, he made this
100%.
Amazing.
He
And
gave
Kurt
it-
Russell's dimple.
Oh, yeah.
And Sam Elliott's mustache,
Oof.
I
which
know.
has disgraced us since the beginning of time before Sam Elliott even existed.
How about that scene at the end with the train where Ike comes and the Cowboys come and they think that Wyatt is on the train
Yes.
and then they go to shoot him and Wyatt and does it and then Virgil looks out and then Wyatt just goes one down and then
One
Virgil
down.
just gives him a hand like, all right, bye.
He's like, peace out.
He's like, I'll take care of your Audlin addicted wife, the widow of our other brother. My wife is hysterical because I lost an arm. No big deal. You'll
Do
get
you-
credit for this.
Virgil's the real
It's
hero.
fine.
Do you think the brother who was eating the salami sandwich was in the train with?
No, Warren stayed. Warren stayed with Wyatt because they traveled together after
Yeah.
that.
That's
He
true.
was probably
That's
eating
true.
sandwiches during every pivotal moment of their
Every
lives,
pivotal.
but he was around.
Yeah.
I bet
Jonesy.
he kind of sort of
Yeah, Jonesy, what's your-
changed his last name where he like just mumbled the in where he's like, I'm
Oh, you're the sandwich one.
You're the you're the one who was eating lunch during the OK Corral shootout. Yeah, you're that brother.
Fun.
Jonesy, what would you give this film? What grade? After seeing it for the very first time ever.
So can I give 2 grades?
What?
No,
Okay.
just one. Pick one.
Okay, then I will give it a solid A.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. A's across the board.
Yes. My other grade would have been an A plus if you love Westerns.
Yes.
Okay.
Even though
This
this
is
was
a-
my introduction to Westerns, I still
can't
feel
believe
like
that.
this is I feel like any other Western you guys show me,
Yeah.
it will all be down from this.
I mean, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jonesy,
So-
since this is your first Western, you've never seen any before. So this question's for mainly Brynne. What
than-
other Westerns, like since Tombstone, has there been made? Or Jonesy, do you even know? Because it feels like Tombstone was really the last epic Western we have
I
seen.
remember hearing something about Daniel Craig and Cowboys versus Aliens or something.
No.
Like that.
Oh, True Grit. True Grit was
Grit.
I loved that
Isn't
one.
that
Was that
good?
the one with the girl?
Yes, and it's based off the not comic
book.
book, but the book, the
Yeah.
graphic novel. Yeah, True
Loved
Grit.
it.
Yeah.
That's right. I
Um,
totally forgot about that film.
Was that,
Yeah,
also
and that was-
the one
that
that
was
had
a
Kate
remake.
Blanchett in it?
Kate, huh?
Kate Blanchett.
I don't remember.
No,
I'd
you're
have to look
thinking
up.
of it's the one with her and Tommy Lee Jones.
Then yes, that's another Western that I would
Yes.
say. So
And there's,
okay,
like-
never mind. My Western cherry wasn't popped. My old school Western cherry was popped.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Because
there
I
was
like
a,
both of those movies,
Seven.
and I love them.
there was a film in the late '90s, Maverick, with Jodie Foster and Mel
Terrible.
Gibson. Horrible
Movie's so
film,
bad.
but it was a Western.
It was a
Never
Western.
seen it.
There have been ones like they remade Magnificent Seven. There's 310 to Yuma. There have
Oh, yeah.
been there was just one that came out that was pretty good. I mean, I watch Westerns just because they remind me of my dad.
Do you watch him with the hat on?
Yeah, I watch him with a hat on, with a giant hat on, and just in my
Eating
underwear.
a can of beans.
Yeah, eating a can of pork and beans, like Blazing Saddles.
Oh,
love
Michael
Blazing
said The Quick and the Dead.
The Quick and the
Sharon
Dead.
Stone. That's
Yes,
right.
with Sharon
I
Stone.
totally forgot about
Yeah.
that film.
Never
Oh my
seen
god,
Young
that's
Guns.
totally right. I totally forgot about that film.
Add it
It's a
to
good
the
film.
list.
Add it to the
On the
list. All
Sharon
right,
Stone
so
was known as a whore.
who?
my-
Sharon Stone.
What?
So all of us gave the film an A. So we all recommend it for everybody to see. So now we're gonna go back to 6 Degrees. We're gonna see if we can do this. It is
Who was it again?
Billy Zane and Bob Hoskins are the two actors.
Okay, if we're
So-
starting with our friend,
You're gonna get this, Brynne. I'm so
Zane.
bad
He
at
always
this.
does.
I'm
so we
bad
should
at
work back
this.
from Bob Hoskins because Billy
Was
Zane's been more.
in-
Bob Hoskins was in Hook
Hook.
with
I love that movie.
Dustin Hoffman's been in
Yeah.
a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Oh wait, okay. So can I do it using Zoolander?
Sure.
Why wouldn't you?
I don't know. That just seems unfair. There's so many.
Zoolander 1 or 2.
Wait, was
Man,
There was a 2.
there was a second Zoolander. The
Yeah.
first
and
one. I didn't
Billy
see the
Zane
second
was in
one.
both?
I don't know.
I don't think he was in the second.
So
I don't
Billy
think so.
Zane was in Zoolander with Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller was in Meet the Fockers with Dustin Hoffman. Dustin Hoffman was in Hook with Bob Hoskins. That's
a
pretty
real
short one.
turnaround. Yeah.
I
What
thought
was
that
that?
was gonna be
4?
hard.
Jesus Christ, Brynne.
3
Yeah.
or 4 degrees?
Three or
That was
4.
3.
Wow, Brynne, that was amazing.
Quickest draw in the West. Okay.
Are we gonna call you Ringo? I'm gonna call you Ringo from now on.
His son, the actor who played Ringo, his son went to my brother's school, and people
Really?
made fun of, they made fun of him a lot.
Why?
Suck,
Yeah,
man.
we should do the next movie for everyone.
Oh yes. So next week's film.
Because I don't know.
I know. Shoot, Jonesy doesn't
Jamie,
have a
come on.
picture of the. Let me pull it up because I don't
Yeah.
think she has a picture
What
of the
if you
film.
don't know I haven't seen this?
I know you haven't seen this because we've talked about it, and I've gotten mad at you for not seeing this movie.
Is it still Magnolias?
No, that one we're saving.
Oh.
This is 19. Hold on, let me pull it up. I'm so bad at this.
1920.
Oh, dead air. Dead
Guys.
air. There it is.
feeling dead air
19.
right
It
now.
is.
Sorry. I'm trying to look it up.
I was talking to the audience.
Rob's like looking at me like, you fucking idiot.
Talking to the
All
audience.
right.
Sorry.
It is 1990 film that I love, and I've watched this film. I cannot count how many times, but it is Mermaids.
Yay!
Jonsy, that's the
Is this the one with Cher?
yes.
Yeah.
So that's the
And Bob,
poster.
Bob Hoskins
And
is
Bob
in
Hoskins.
that.
And Christina Ricci and Winona Ryder.
Get ready for a lot of me doing this into the mic. Whoa, whoa,
Whoa, whoa.
whoa.
I absolutely love this film. It is a film that I've watched. I cannot tell you how many times I've watched this film. I'm super excited for this, and I know Jonsy has never seen this film, but she's heard of it because I brought it up many times
Yes.
through our friendship. So Jonsy, let us know what you think Mermaids is about.
So I kind of already know. So
Okay.
I'll just say it's about, or at least I think I know. It's about a single mom who's struggling raising her a girl. I'm not quite sure. I don't remember. And maybe also flirting with love. I don't know. Maybe
That's pretty good, Jonsy.
In general,
like I said, I've heard about this movie so much. This is one of those where it's like I have been afraid to watch it because what if I don't think it's as good as everyone I love thinks it's as good because
I will not be
in
friends with
that
you
time.
anymore.
yeah, we just won't be friends with you anymore.
Yeah,
It's fine.
exactly.
Yeah, no,
Jonsy,
cool. It's no danger, no risk off my back.
Yeah.
And I will
Jonsy,
remind you that
do
we did.
I think you will actually really enjoy this one.
I think I will too.
It's a lot more lighthearted than Tombstone.
It also has all actors I already love and adore and respect.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't see me not liking this one. I just am worried that time will make me not like it as much as everyone else I love
It holds up.
likes it. So
And I will remind you that we did tell you this is the movie that we're doing because your initial honest reaction was, "Oh, is that the one where Daryl Hannah turns into a mermaid?"
Oh, that's right. You thought it was Splash. And
which
we're
is
like,
Flash. Okay.
No.
Yes. But also fair enough to me. 'Cause
Fair enough.
it's both about mermaids.
true. Okay, so Brynne, you've seen this movie many times. So
Yes.
what grade would you give it in your what would your nostalgia grade be?
My nostalgia grade would be an A
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, I remember loving this movie and like feeling very deeply connected to it.
Mine would be like A++.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my top ones that I absolutely love. I'm really excited to get Jonsy.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, you'll cry like a baby.
you'll cry. Oh, you'll cry for sure.
Good tears, good happy tears. I think you're really gonna enjoy this. And for everybody out there, watch Mermaids and then come back next Thursday, 8 p.m. on this YouTube channel and for the podcast and enjoy it with us. Talk about it.
Or
Give us your
experience it
opinion.
for the first time with me.
Yeah, or experience it for the very first time along with Jonsy.
Yeah.
But you guys, that is our show.
Thank you guys.
That was a fun one. Tombstone
I
was
like that one.
interesting. Yeah. But you can follow us on Instagram. Jonsy said it before. It's Filmspringa. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And send us your movie recommendations. Filmspringa@gmail.com.
Yes.
It would be great. But yeah, that is it. That was a good one, you
We're
guys.
also on
Yeah, thank
Facebook. No one follows us there except your mom, who also hasn't heard of us. But we're there if you
Fine.
want us.
There you go. But we will see you all next week when we dive into mermaids. And
Mermaids
we
on Filmspringa.
Bye. We'll see you next week,
Bye,
everybody.
guys.